And across the line, that is the wish, that is the win.
Dominic Greiner has won already, he just needs to cross the line, so he does so. Dominic Greiner is our European champion.
Well, good morning. No, not good morning. Good afternoon. We're live from Sicily. Well, it's good morning somewhere, I suppose. We're live from Sicily. It's the EFRA 110th IC Track European Championships. This is an EFRA event. It's brought to you by X-Ray, and we are RC Racing TV, proud to be bringing you the finals. There's two finals. The 110 wide is about to kick off. That's 45 minutes where 5 cars will battle it out for the first ever wide title, and then we will have the main event, which is the 110th IC Track, which is another 45 minutes of sheer excitement. In the booth will be Frank and James. Hey guys.
Hi Matt.
How you doing? Sorry,
I'm very good, thank you. Sorry.
That's all good. That's all good. I need to bring Frank in, which I will do in 1 second.
Sorry,
Just
here I
wait.
am.
There we go.
All right.
Here he is.
There he is. Here I am. And there's our moving
He's
camera. There's our cars out in the pit lane, getting some photos. Yeah, so ready to start it off. I think we're almost on schedule. Not quite as laid back as I thought.
For the first time.
Yeah.
It's been rare that we've been on schedule. The schedule's changed that many times, we don't even look at the schedule anymore.
Exactly.
We just put our heads out the commentary box and just look to see if we can see any cars approaching the pit lane.
Yeah, and so there's the cars with the mechanics sat next to them. It doesn't look like they're in a great rush to get out there. But you can see Julie Thurston, the section chairman of this section. That's what the category, the racing category, the class is called. In EFRA terms, it's a section. So that's she's the chairman, taking photos of the first. Well, it's not a European Championship, but it's I believe they're kind of calling it a international cup or international race or something like that. So it's not official.
It's normally the way when the...
Go ahead, James.
It's normally the way new classes when they get introduced that they come in first of all as a cup. It happens at both EFRA and IFMAR level that they sort of dip a toe in the water first with a view to making them a full-blown class later on.
Yeah, and I believe
as is happening
the
in
GTA
Portugal later in the year for the 1/10th 1/8 e-buggy World Cup, the IFMA World Cup. That's the precursor to the Worlds that will undoubtedly follow after that.
Yeah, very cool. At the IBC track, isn't it?
It's not actually, but it's not too
no.
far from there.
Okay.
It is at the track where we covered our first European Championship from, where Renault Savoia got his third Nitro Buggy European Championship. And a young David Runnefelk was, I don't know how old he would have been, maybe 12 or something was there. And I was there with Paul. It was just me and Paul.
Oh, okay.
Happy days.
I thought it might have been the one I went to with James, and I can't remember who else was there, but at Frexidas.
Yeah, Frexidas. Yeah, that was a year, at least a year or so later.
Right.
The mechanic for car number 2 has a fantastic beard. That is an
Yes.
observation I'm going to be making. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought he was American for a few moments the first time I saw him. Quite a popular look over there.
Can hear in the background some kind of announcement being barked out of the PA system.
It's because there's
it's
hardly
clearly
any
not track is
mechanic.
open.
There's hardly any marshals on the track. We're missing about 7 marshals.
Oh dear.
So they're calling out the marshals who were supposed to be out here, who were supposed to be the 1/12th, the semifinal A racers. Some of them less happy
we have a
to be out there
photographer.
than others.
Yeah. Thank you to you if you're watching from home. This event is brought to you by X-Ray. Thank you so much to X-Ray. Daniel Liu 01 says hello RCTV from California. Hello Daniel Liu. Monfasa says, what is 110 wide? Old school pan cars? Good question.
Very good question.
It's one that everyone's been asking. It's been answered a few times. But what's the elevator pitch for this class, Frank?
The elevator pitch is that this is a sort of a feeder class to get people who want to dip their toe in the water of nitro racing but don't want to go completely into nitro touring car racing, which is quite dedicated and very, very quick and difficult to drive. So these cars are based on the same chassis but have wider bodies, a little bit more aero, and wider tires than the nitro touring cars, basically. So they're very, very, very close. And in fact, some manufacturers sell. You can buy the wide chassis, and you basically have all the bits to make a nitro touring car plus the wide chassis part. And all you need, the only difference then is the body and the tires. And that's basically what it is, because nitro touring cars have gotten very, very complex, just the same as electric four-wheel drive touring cars have gotten very, very complex. So there's the fronties, or the front-wheel drives, have been introduced in recent years, and so it's a similar sort of thing. So that's sort of the
Looks like
tweak.
they might be opening the track soon.
Yeah, it looks. I hear engines.
Yeah, you can see the telltale exhaust smoke there. Also having a look down the pit lane. Not a huge amount of effort gone into preparation or painting of body shells here for these.
No, that's usually the way. I think most drivers that rely on their sponsor stickers to provide the sort of visual breakup of their paint schemes. But we have seen some proper cool paint schemes. Notable one being Dario Bellestri, our pole man in the touring car category. He's running a full paint scheme on at least 2 or 3 of his bodies that he's got. He's got a few different optional sort of aerodynamic downforce choices for his bodies. But we've got cars out on track. We've got Tilo Dickman, who's also running in the 10th Nitro. Silvio Peperato, Melvin Dickman, who's Tilo's brother-in-law, Nigel Philpott, and Bob Harley.
Yep, so Melvin's going to be quite busy, actually. He's out here for 45 minutes, and then he is out in the...
Grazie.
Main well. So,
Okay, sorry about that.
Melvin got a busy afternoon ahead. He's out in this wide final, and then he is also in the main final for the 200mm cars as well.
Okay, I've just been told by the chap who's been sorting out the timing in the timing booth that he walked up and said 30 minutes. So something to keep Matt busy is to just make sure that the timing will update itself once it actually starts counting, I suppose. And, hopefully, hopefully that will update itself.
Well, they've just decided it's a 30-minute final.
No, I think... Well, no, I don't think they just decided. I think he was just unaware that it was meant to be a 30-minute.
I think that's something.
It says Girata 45 in the running order.
Yes.
On Padlet.com. So.
Yeah, I'm not
fun,
sure
where
the communication breakdown happened, but he just told me 30 minutes.
So if this doesn't update, just so everyone knows, we might be racing to the 15-minute mark.
Maybe a 15-minute warm-up,
and
then a 30-minute race. But just keeping going.
No, because from our timer, they won't be racing for the last 15 minutes. So we just have to... Oh, what a mess. Oh, dear. Okay,
so they're calling in cars.
30-second call?
Yep. Tio from Amshi out there with his red flag. So I'm as curious as everyone else is to see if the clock will automatically update itself.
Incidentally, Frank, we've got a local driver in this, Bob Harley. He's races at Burton Buggy Club, which isn't in Burton and doesn't race buggies, but just down the road from it.
Really, I didn't know he's so. When you said Bob Harley's local, I was thinking, does he live in Taormina? Or, but no, I've actually. That's a very the location of that is very, very close to me. I need to chat with him about that. But here we go for either 30 or 45 minutes.
Tilo Dickman leads the way then. Looks like Pipperato in second. Melvin Dickman in third position. Nigel Philpott and Bob Harley. None of the times have updated yet as they cross the line. Stick with the leader for now.
Starting their first full lap now. So I am curious to see if this is going to be a all-out battle. Yeah, we see Bob quite a lot at these Nitro events. He's always pitting with the Thurstons and always has a smile on his face. So he's one of the friendly faces of EFRA, for sure.
Looks like Tilo still leading this one. So they're running kind of in grid order. Come away from the start.
It's going 1-3-2 actually. It's both. Well, it's Tilo, then Melvin Dickman, and then Pipperato.
Okay, so the white car leading the white car.
Yes.
Brothers-in-law shared a can of paint.
Maybe they do. Paint them at the same time. Makes it easier. Save some money.
Looks like Tilo's just stopped and waited. Not sure he'd be doing that if this was not.
It did look like that, yeah. Well, it's a fun class, so if you're not actually, if you're just miles and miles ahead, yeah, you can, you're showing you're dominating, you got so many more laps on everybody else, but, if you're going to be blasting around a racetrack in Sicily, why not do it door to door with your brother-in-law?
It might be a quiet journey home.
Yeah, there's that. Looks like everyone's running the same body. I'm not sure how many different bodies there are, but if you have a close look at these cars, if you're familiar with the electric touring car, or even the nitro touring car classes, the cars' bodies have all these scoops and shapes and channels and things like that really direct the airflow all over it. And basically, because the body is wider, it allows for those channels and cuts and scoops and everything to be more numerous and deeper and wider, providing more aerodynamic downforce. So in addition to the downforce, you're getting the mechanical grip from the suspension because it's wider, and the width of the tires, so increased contact patch at front and rear. So maybe a little bit of they're having a bit of fun out there. You can tell.
They are. They're having. They're swapping around. I've got a feeling this might get a bit more serious. Timing does now look like it's up and running.
Ah, very good.
So they crossed the line, quarter of a second apart that time.
Yeah,
I
think.
From Pipperato.
Pipperato looks like he's got the red and white car. I think that's Bob Harley trying to give him a little bit of grief.
Bob's a lap down on Pipperato.
Ah, right, okay.
But they're together on track, so together with each other. But front two having a bit of a play. You just wonder, they'll probably do this till about the 25-minute mark, and then someone will put a slightly aggressive move on. You can they're playing at the moment, but no doubt it will a little more. There'll be a little bit more.
There is a trophy at stake. So and coming at the same time. So that's interesting. And
Pit
down
race,
on the track at the same time. Oh, someone spun out. Who was that spun out? It was the white car of Dickman, which is very helpful, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and he spun out again.
Oh,
okay. No, that was Tilo. Melvin's in the car 1, so it's Tilo who spun out in the 3. Oh, and he spun again.
No, Tilo's car 1. Tilo's car 1. Melvin's
sorry.
3.
Sorry. There we go. Getting my Dickmans mixed up. I wonder what caused that though. Would fuel on the foam tires potentially do that, or just too aggressive coming out of the corners?
Potentially, but you'd have to have quite a lot of. You'd struggle to get foam onto the tires. Normally, around the neck of the fuel tank, there's it's shaped like a funnel in itself, and it's got a little drain. So if you do overfill it and have a bit of a spillage. There's normally a little channel for the fuel to sort of exit under the centre of the chassis.
Yeah.
To stop that. So, not sure what would have caused that, though he seems to be up and running 7 or so seconds back. Bob Harley up into 3rd position now. He's got in front of Pipperato.
Ah, okay. Pipperato's...
We can find Bob on number 5.
It's the red and white car. Just going into the hairpin and coming towards you now, Zach. And he's about to go through the kink. He's just let the white and orange car go past.
I think that's Pipperato. He's just let him go.
Right, okay. One or the other must have had some moment on the track. And there's Bob getting lapped. But there's Bob Harley. Let's give him a moment in the sun, in the Sicilian sun. Oh, one of the Dickmans is flamed out. Who is that? Which car is that? I can't see the number. So it's number 1 who's still running. So it's Tilo has stopped out on track.
No, Tilo's won. Melvin
has stopped out on track. He did cross the line.
Looks like Nigel Philpott's in some kind of trouble as well. We can see Martin Thurston beavering away on his car there.
Okay, there goes Melvin back out. He's lost at least a lap or two, so maybe now he'll take it a little bit serious and throw down some fast lap times.
So back past Bob again. Still running in second. He's got a, despite that flame out for Melvin, he's got a, just waiting for it to update, but it's about a 6-second lead. Yeah, 6.1 seconds that he has over.
Well, plus 2 or 3 laps.
Yes, that's right. He's a lapper. He's got a lap in his pocket, hasn't he, over Pipperato? That's right. So Tilo well away out in front. He's almost 3 laps down the road.
Oh, another flame out for Melvin. Something has gone slightly wrong.
Yep, seeing Tilo just come into the pits from the lead. The pitman just going to fire it up, press down on the starter box.
The Dickmans and I believe Bob Harley all running Capricorn cars, which if you saw...
Yep, I believe that.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a glow plug change for Melvin Dickman here. And a fresh plug put in that. Pipperato now second. Bob Harley up into third position. Fresh plug fitted.
So running.
Fired up. Refuel.
Out.
On his way. Melvin Dickman down into fourth position then.
So
leading this.
In 21 minutes, let's see how many laps he can make up on his brother-in-law.
He's 5 laps down now, and looks like Nigel Philpot's got himself running again.
Ooh, little spin there.
Yeah, a little half spin. Probably overdriving the car slightly. It's really easy to do with a bit of red mist after you've
yeah.
had a bit of a long stop.
And there's also still a fair amount of wind on the track. We can see the flags around the track still cracking away.
And of course, these cars, being slightly wider bodied, you've got a greater surface area, in effect, for the wind to hit and take effect on.
Exactly. Oh!
Little bit of a coming together there, I think. Pipperato made a small mistake, half spin, and directly in front of Dickman. Just collected him. No, nothing too major. And imagine Pipperato will probably get out of the way. He knows Melvin's quicker. He knows he's 5 laps down. He's not really a danger to him.
Well, yet. Oh, Philpot's just flamed out in number 4 car. So mechanic runs back to the pits with that. See if we can get him going again. And obviously we want to see them all finish.
Most definitely. You always at the end of a long final.
Don't want to come all the way to Sicily and not finish your main race.
Definitely not. So Melvin now a couple of seconds behind Bob. This is actually for position. Bob's just given him the place. But that was actually for position there. Melvin now back up into third position after his earlier issues. Looks like he had flamed out once, had a failing plug.
So he's still 6 laps down from Tilo.
About nitro. We're getting some questions about nitro content in the fuel. It's 16% nitro fuel, mandated for EFRA events.
And that's an EU rule. So it's anyone watching from the States who's used to running 25 or 30% or even 40% fuel. Yeah, it's required by law, unless there's special dispensation, which I think only the Worlds got last year for the Buggy Worlds in Spain. So Bob getting past again.
Yeah, the smaller engine cars have tended to run 16% anyway historically. It's the larger engine, the 8 Gales with the 0.21 cubic inch or 3.5 CT that have tended to run the 25% fuel. Though, like you say, the rallycross buggies, the 8th on road cars tended to run that. Tilo Dickman still leading from Peperato. Melvin, who we are running with, I believe, if that's the free car,
it is, yes.
Is in. So recovering after an earlier flame out.
He's still several laps down from Tilo, though.
He's 6 laps down from Tilo. He's.
Yeah. I mean, several minutes ago he was 6 laps, so he hasn't made up the laps yet. I think maybe Tilo sees his opportunity and he's running 8 or 9 tenths, just so that Melvin has a longer recovery period, maybe.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think its main target's got to be to catch Piperato now, who is, what is he, 1 lap and 1 second in front of him. So Piperato's in fact this car directly in front of him, coming towards half distance.
There we go. So he's almost 1 lap away from unlapping himself. But if Piperato makes a few more mistakes like that, it'll come to Melvin a lot quicker.
Yeah, he's now on the same lap, effectively, as Piperato. Yeah, he's a lap time minus about 3 seconds. To watch that, see if we start to see that come down.
Yeah, you can see
on the back of Bob Harley again.
You can see the gap definitely growing between Melvin and Piperato. So yeah, it'll take some time, but I'm sure he'll be on the charge until he's right on the back bumper of Piperato. Meanwhile,
Absolutely.
I believe Tilo came in for a pit stop. That's why the 2 white cars are running together. So
Yeah,
it
just saw him
is
exit from a bit of a funky angle.
Yeah. So in order, as we're seeing them on the track, it's the 1 of Tilo and the 3 of Melvin. But Tilo is, I think, still 6 laps ahead. Is that right?
Tilo is, let's have a look if they cross the line.
I think it's 5 laps.
Melvin's in front. Yeah, 5 laps. Melvin's the one in front, so it's 5 laps plus that between them. So if Tilo was to pass, it would be 6 laps. Tilo not trying particularly hard to pass his brother-in-law. He can afford to sit there and wait.
Oh, I think that was Melvin that just went into the pits and spun out.
It is
just at the
Melvin.
beginning. And he's back out safely. So I think it's about a half a lap ahead of Pipperato now. Or no, behind.
Let's have a look at the times update. He is 6 seconds behind Pipperato.
Yeah. So see how quickly he closes this down. Of course, anyone else can flame out and make this dramatically more interesting. Tilo or Pipperato could flame out.
So there's Pipperato just flashed past on the main straight. So as we went past that sort of cut, or the cut through, we saw Pipperato go
crashed. Or no.
Right.
Sorry, Pipperato's in the pits. And Melvin's just passed him. He's flamed out. He's getting restarted. A couple of attempts. And he's back out. But I think he's lost a lap already to Melvin. So now he's directly behind Melvin now. As they're coming onto the straight. That's Melvin
This
in
will
the white
update
car.
then as they fine.
Yep, so that was the pass.
Back as were then from the start. Melvin Diekman into second position. 2 seconds in front of Pipperato. They're 6 laps down on Tilo Dickman. We're heading towards 2/3 distance.
So what we thinking? Another two pit stops to go.
Yeah, I would expect so. These cars, I would imagine they're not quite as good on fuel, being a little bit heavier, a little bit wider. I would think that they'll burn a tiny amount more fuel than the 200mm cars would be. Fairly relaxed up there. In fact, that was refueled in the pit lane as well, so I'm not sure if that's going to be.
Yeah,
technically.
Tilo pitted a couple laps ago, and Melvin looks like he's having more trouble.
So another plug failure, possibly.
So that could be second. Actually, Pipperato is running out there.
Yeah, Pipperato's still running.
We did lose Philpott, it looks like, while I was looking away.
Yeah, Nigel Philpott's gone, so we've got 4 cars circulating. Tilo Diekman absolutely gone at the front of this one. He's currently showing 5 laps in front, but he
gone as in disappeared away in the distance.
Gone, yes, as in gone down the road. No one can see him. And in fact, given the lead he's got, if we get to, I don't know, about a minute and a half before the end, he's won it regardless, because no one will be able to match his lap count. So he probably doesn't even need to get to 30 minutes on that one. Diekman looks like he is back up and running, so that's dropped him quite a long way behind Pipperato.
No, he's still in the pits. He's still in the pits. His mechanic is
still in the pits.
Yeah, his mechanic has slowed his actions down. I think it's one of those body language situations where it looks like the mechanic is kind of just going through the motions and
Oh, okay. So there we go. So
Yeah.
we've got. There we go. He's stepping off the rostrum. So we've now got Bob Harley up into third position.
Go Bob.
Absolutely.
Repping it for Church Gresley.
Yeah. About to claim third place in a European Cup.
Yeah, even Bob
Tilo
is
Dickman.
3 laps ahead of Melvin.
I think Melvin stopped. I think he's got off the roster.
Yeah, he's taking his car to technical inspection now as Tilo comes in for his final pit stop, I think. Maybe not. It's 7 minutes to go.
Or he's not going to go 7 minutes.
No. So splash and dash with a couple minutes left probably, and that'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the cars are pretty well spaced now. Piparato knows he's not going to catch Diekman unless he has a problem. He's not going to catch him on pace. It's kind of taken the sting a little bit out of it in that all of the cars are very different in terms of pace. They just all need to keep it going now until the end. So 6 laps and 3 seconds between leader Tilo Diekman and Peperato in second position. And then Peperato has got 6 laps on Bob, who he's just passed. All 3 of the cars kind of in one end of the circuit.
Yeah. Not quite clumping, as we like to call it here on RCTV, but getting close to it.
Well, it always seems to be the way. You end up with 2 or 3 cars there's only 2 or 3 cars on a nice big track, and they're always locked together.
Yeah, and then they end up spinning each other off.
Basically.
So I believe it was Bob who's just come in for his potentially final pit stop. Whoa, a little fast there, Bob. Hitting the wall on the outside of the 90-degree corner of Pepe's at the end of the street. End of the straight.
I think Bob would have. I think Bob will probably have one more stop before the end, just for luck. To be honest, with just over 5 minutes left, I think he'd. If he was in a close battle for a bump up, he might try and risk it. As it is, he'll just want to keep it rolling, I'd say, and get that across the line would be the sensible thing to do.
Well,
been a good steady drive from all of the drivers.
Yeah, Bob is a very sensible driver. You can tell he gives plenty of room for the drivers that are coming around to lap him. Not trying to hold him up in any way.
Absolutely, the best way to fit. Tilo a little bit more sideways probably there than the leader of that needs to be. So this will be his final stop. So exits the pit lane for the final time. 4 minutes 15 to go, or hopefully for the final time, unless there's any issues for him. Waiting to see. Going to close in on the back of Bob again, and you just saw Piparato disappearing out the shot. So again, all 3 cars pretty much on the main straight together.
Almost as close as you can get. Piparato's just come in for his final stop.
So I would expect Bob will probably have a splash and dash.
He's just done it just now. Just as you were saying, he was being put on the ground. I believe it's Alex Search's girlfriend who's doing the pit job for Bob.
Yeah, always good
see at these Nitro events, other team members collaborating, helping out in the pit. Three minutes left now. 3 cars circulating. So with a huge lead, we're running with him at the moment, and 7 laps up now. None of these drivers in the main final later. It was Melvin Dickman with the number 3 car, who was a retirement around 10 minutes ago. A couple of plug failures by the looks of it, so kept on flaming out. So suggests that there might be a bit of an air leak somewhere if it's leaning itself off and taking plugs out like that.
Right.
James,
I'm going to let you finish off the rest of the race and be prepared myself to capture Tilo as he's coming off the rostrum.
Okay, thank you, Frank. So Frank heading out there now so that he can have a chat with Tilo. We've got, 1 minute 40. 1 minute 40 left. Thilo's lead big enough that realistically he could almost stop now with a 7-lap lead. Don't think Piperato's going to catch him, and in fact he's pitting there just to fill up with fuel. Exits the pit lane, doesn't want to flame out. He's got plenty in his pocket. Bob Harley just behind him on the track. Piperato running in 2nd position. 6 laps down on Tilo. We'll be chatting with. Tilo has now won this. He's that far in front that even if he was to stop now, took all 4 wheels off the car, off the end of the main straight, no one is going to catch him. Piperato couldn't actually match his lap count by the end of it. Pretty much run for home, keep the car circulating. We've just seen someone go through the cut through. No, that's heading off down the main straight once more. He's going to make, let's have a look. So he's made it onto 1 more lap. Time's expired. Piperato is going to finish in 2nd as he crosses the line. So Bob has finished, as has Piperato. And then Tilo Dickman takes the European Cup for the wide cars that he was interviewed about with Frank earlier on in the weekend. I'm sure you'll enjoy catching up with him. So well done to Tilo. It's a good demonstration run there. Well done Piperato, and well done Bob Harley. Finishing top 3.
There's your top 3. That was the first ever 110 wide A final. A Euros, I think, Cup we're calling it. Will it turn into a full-blown European Championship or a full-blown class within this European Championship? Time will tell. But thank you for watching. Still to come, don't go anywhere because it's the main event. It's the 110th IC Track European Championship final. Don't go anywhere because that is going to be the main event, and we'll see if Dario Balestri can hold on to the lead for 45 minutes or whether the 10 people behind him can offer anything to take him out. Well, not necessarily to take him out, but to take the lead and to take the win. Or will it be one for Dario Balestri? Find out only here. You're watching RC Racing TV. We're on the RC Racing TV YouTube channel. We're on the EFRA YouTube channel. We're on Facebook. We are on Mika News for the German fans. We are all over, and you're watching along. And that was the final. And we can hear Frank, so we should be having an interview. We can hear Frank, so we should be having an interview with the champion very soon. See if he's able to grab him from the celebrations and let us into what it's like to win the cup. Lots of you commenting on the stream, which is awesome. Number one is by himself. That's true. He kind of did run away with it, didn't he, James?
He did, yes. I mean, it looked like Melvin could probably run at a similar pace. They were having a bit of fun at the front of that, and then unfortunately Melvin ran into some problems, starting having a few issues in that, and sort of flamed out a couple of times. Left Tilo quite comfortable out in front, so a bit of a demonstration drive. But of course, I would imagine he's got to go out there now and probably pit for Melvin. So Tilo won't be able to celebrate too much. He's got to go out there and get ready almost straight away after winning that demonstration race. He'll be called straight back into action again.
Yeah, if you may call it so. Yeah. So I think the main lesson here is if you do an interview with EFRA and RCTV, you win. Is it like this?
That sounds quite bad. So we might leave them. Does that sound pretty bad to you, James?
It didn't sound fantastic, Matt. Yeah, that was a bit.
We'll give him one more try.
Robotic.
One more try.
And of course.
No, unfortunately, that does not sound great. So what we'll do is we'll talk to Tilo. We'll talk to him off air and we'll put that out later. But congratulations to him and on the win. We've got people, Wesley Van Helmen's watching, saying, let's go Yilliz. Absolutely. We have the Yilliz fan club watching along. And yes, it's going to be a fantastic final. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back just after this.
And across the line, that is the wish, that is the win.
Dominic Greiner has won already, he just needs to cross the line, so he does so. Dominic Greiner is our European champion.
Bruno's roll.
Oh, and there's contact.
Tackle. Oh!
Mark Wright puts a pass on Alex, but he's right on, but he can always push him on!
Taking the inside line.
Bruno's going to be pushing all that he can to catch. Oh, and a mistake from Carrot puts them right back together.
It's insane.
No, what's happened? Pecco losing fuel on the very last lap. Patrick Schweinzer taking the win.
Reiner has won it from last to first. 3-time winner David Ronnevout takes the Euros. Reiner is your European champion, well, again.
So there we be back.
Hello.
How we doing?
Okay.
How was? Unfortunately, we couldn't hear the interview very well. How can you reiterate some of what he had to say?
Yeah, basically just saying that just running through the key moments of the race. He said they kind of agreed, sort of the first few minutes they kind of play around a little bit and then take it serious. But once Melvin had his problems, Tilo kept going at the same pace. Basically, he wasn't going to wait around, and then he had obviously the further problems that we saw. And that that kind of put paid to Melvin's challenge, but but before we completely lost the mic, I was trying to get his thoughts on how he sees the future of the class growing, which is obviously I think we're all hopeful that we it's a down the road. Obviously, it's not an immediate thing, but down the road, we'll see an infusion of new Nitro Touring Car racers. So we have a bigger turnout at tracks and events and locations like this, where we're at in Sicily.
Absolutely. So with the time being 3:50.
Yes.
Well.
Well, I can't tell you.
We're not running to schedule.
No. I never thought we would be. Vito, the man, is just coming over. Just a moment. Hello. It's when sorry, I had to turn myself down so that I didn't blast the audio. But the race organizers trying to organize a photo of the finalists, which is, I think, really ought to be sorted. So he's just come over to ask if we have a camera to take a photo of, and I pointed at the interview camera that it's like, unfortunately, it's that one, which is not really set up at the moment. But there are a few people here with
slightly
with
busy right now.
Yeah. I mean, well, usually, obviously at dare I say, bigger events, there's a plethora of media people and sponsors that want to get photos of their drivers in the top 10. Here's our guys all full of hope and enthusiasm for the 45-minute main to come. So yeah, it's fine. Like I said, there was never any hope of actually running perfectly to schedule, because it's the very final thing of the day that's on the printed schedule or the official schedule. It's okay that we're running a few minutes behind, but it does mean that we have to fill it. We have to fill the gaps. But
well, you know what? You know what's good? We may not have heard the Tilo winning interview, but we could hear the original Tilo interview telling us about the class.
Yeah. Let's replay that. I think it's a good interview.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. All right. So we are here at Giordani Naxos in Sicily. Again, the track is still quite wet, but we're filling in the time talking with Tilo Dickman from Germany, representing Capricorn and the DMC German Federation. So, Tilo, what is this car, and what's it doing here?
That's the new 230mm class. This is like a promotion class here, so not an official title, and we're just here to gather some information about this new class.
And so there's just a few racers running it, but it looks, obviously it's a whole new kit from Capricorn?
No, actually it's like the normal kit. We're also running in 200mm with some parts to make it fit to the new bodies.
Oh, okay, so new body shell. Can we see underneath it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so if we can just talk us through it and just point at whatever you're talking about.
So as I told you, like this is the normal CO4 car. Actually, this is my car from last season. I bring it here, and it has the normal CO4 spec, and we just have some new parts for the 230mm class, which of course has bigger tires in the front and the rear, and we have this optional brace in the rear that allows us to have independent suspension, so the body is not moving with the suspension like in 1.8. And actually that's also a new shock tower here in the rear, and some new positions to make it better geometry for the wire tires.
Okay, so I mean this used to be basically the companion class to the 1/8 scale Nitro on road. So what has brought it back? Is it just people who used to race these in the 90s and 2000s going, remember that class? It was really fast and looked cool.
I think there are two parties that racing 230mm now. It's either the old guys, like the guys that know it from the past, and also some racers that are looking for a class that is a little bit more easy to drive. Then, to be honest, 200mm class has become a little bit crazy in the last 3 years with the power, and also with the aerodynamic. The car's getting more and more difficult to adjust, and everything is very on the limit. And people are searching for a class which is just more drive, more fun to enjoy,
So these use basically the same drivetrain, same engine, everything, just a few different parts, and obviously a different size, a wider, obviously, body.
Yeah, it's a wider body, which is also a little bit heavier, which makes them more resistant to crashes and stuff. And also some new parts to make it fit for the body. But you can also use it just a normal kit, which will also fit. But for drivability, it's better to use these parts. And for Capricorn, I can only speak for Capricorn. They make two kits, one is wide, which also have the parts already included.
Okay, so you kind of get two cars in one kit if you get the wide version.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, options are always great. So that rear downforce, explain how that is different to someone who's might only be familiar with touring cars and mounting the body mounts to the rear shock tower or something like that, or sticking straight out the back like a bumper nowadays. How is that different to how a touring car rear body mount is?
Okay, so if the touring car is generating downforce, it's always pushing the shock tower, so every downforce we have is going through the shock tower into the car, through the suspension on the tires. And with this body mount, every downforce you get from the body, which is a lot because the body is quite big, it's pushing directly on the rear tires. So you have more traction in the rear, and together with the wider tires, you just have a more easy to drive car with more traction. And since the power is still the same with the same engines, the power compared to the downforce is less. So you have more like a GT style car. So you have more corner speed, everything is more easy because on power there's no explosion, there's just a real acceleration.
Very cool. And in the old days, as I hesitate to say, I'm one of those old guys probably. I never actually raced these, but I started racing nitro with touring cars. But in the old days, these were pan car chassis, weren't they? Like the Le Mans style, the Can-Am style body shells. And now they're touring car style?
No, the class actually was about the same. There was a two-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive class. It has a conventional suspension setup, like we see on the 200mm, and they had the different engines that those days had the same power that the small engines now have. So the power was compared like exactly the same. It just has was bigger engines, and since the evolution of the engines became bigger and bigger. The small engine now provides the same power than before.
Yeah, I just remembered as you were talking, you may have seen me remember that there were 21 size and then 15 size, weren't they?
Yes, exactly. 25 size, which was 2.5 cubic centimeters, and now it's 2.1 cubic centimeters, but the power is maybe even more than those days.
It's amazing how the developments come on in just a couple of decades, isn't it?
That's racing, that's normal, but I think for the customers and for the more hobby drivers, it's maybe a good option to enjoy racing again.
That's really cool. I love that this has been introduced as an invitational class, and even though there's only a few racers that are running it, hopefully this turns into something like F1 in the large-scale touring car, where it's kind of like a more seen as more of a fun class. They're still a European champion, but you know it's a sort of meant to be sort of a feeder class into the more serious large touring cars.
This is also what we are missing in Nitro. Like in Nitro we have the 1.8, which is the Formula 1 of Nitro Sport, and 200mm with all the pro guys here, and even me is like an amateur but still a very ambitious driver. It's got a little bit too far for the guys that just want to enjoy, and we need some kind of entry class, like with the pole starter, what we have like 10 years before. We need a class like this where people can start with the hobby, learn, and then evolve and may change to the other classes.
And so now a bit on to you. Are you racing touring cars while here?
Yeah, I'm racing both class, 200mm and 230. Yeah, I guess I will race a lot, but due to the weather, it's kind of relaxing still.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Are you maybe getting a little bit extra track knowledge, or the setups are just too different?
No, the setups are completely different. Also, the driving style is different. Maybe you learn the layout, but we had 3 days full of practice, so there's nothing to learn from it. It's basically maybe it's even the disadvantage because you have to adapt to the driving style every time. But to be honest, I don't take this very serious. So for me, it's just fun.
Well, I mean that's the whole idea, isn't it? It's model car racing. And so, are you going to be racing anything else? Or do you do any electric, or is it just nitro?
I used to run auto electric, but since I start my own business in the RC industry, I don't find a lot of time, and I'm happy for the 1 or 2 months break I have. I also race a lot overseas, and so yeah, nitro only for me. Okay. I'm a nitro head.
Very good, very good. And now just a little bit about Dominic Greiner. We chatted about him off camera, obviously, earlier. So what is the story? Why isn't the defending European champion here to defend his title, basically?
I'm constantly chatting with him because he's a good friend of me, and I'm also his mechanic on the important races. And there's just no holiday left because he has a normal job, a regular 5-day job. And so there are more plans for the European Championship 1.8 later in the year in Portugal, and also for the 1.8 Worlds in Japan later this year. Then there is the ENS race series. This is also 2 more races, so that's just not enough holiday. That's easy holidays.
That's real life, isn't it?
We're still chatting a lot, and we hope for his help because even from the videos, he has some ideas to try, and he would love to be here.
That's amazing. So you guys are actually videoing maybe your car's actions on the track, and then he's providing some tips, saying, "I noticed in this turn you're doing this," or maybe try that setup.
Oh, it's more like we saw videos from other cars, and like we see our cars compared to the cars of the competition, and we see our car is not that good as them on that stage, and we have advantage there and there. So maybe try this and try this. So.
And of course, you have Alessio Maceo on your teams, who's this is his home track basically now.
Yeah, that's his home track, and I chatted with him a few hours ago, and he told to me that normally they're used to a lot more traction, and because they also use the additive, and now he knows where to go, but I also don't think on this kind of level there's no real home advantage.
All right, excellent. So will we be seeing you in Portugal?
Yes, as a mechanic of Dominic, and also in Japan, but I don't race myself.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm there as well, so we'll see you there. There we go. That's Tilo Dickman from Germany. I think we're about ready for a
So there we go.
Main race.
Looks like cars are getting prepped to be released from the pit lane.
You guys hear me okay?
Yep, we've got you.
Okay, okay. Just been watching Teo from Amshi kind of shoo people away from in front of the view because my view. He just didn't want anybody around the timing building and the race official buildings.
Just before we get started, I'll remind you you're watching the EFRA 1/10th IC Track European Championships. Thank you to EFRA, of course, for putting this event on, or at least for overseeing this event and creating the rules around this event and putting in the structure so that federations and nations can get together and race a fantastic event like this. And of course, the organisers in Sicily doing a great job. And thank you to X-Ray for supporting this live stream. We're very grateful to you guys. This is going to be one hell of a race.
Yeah, and hopefully it's more than just a two-horse race between Gruber and Balestri. But remains to be seen. It'll be very, very interesting, I'm sure. I'm sure Grosskamp and Guillermo Raiola, Mazzeo all want to have their word.
If you want to have a reminder of what this class looks like, of what the finals might have in store, here's a very quick look at the finals of this class over the last couple of years.
And the man who would become 2010 European champion is Martin Christensen.
Now this is Robert Peach on his victory run. The young German adding the European Championship, his World 1/8 Championship he won earlier in the year in Miami. What a fantastic performance by Robert Peach, fantastic weekend, and I think he's pretty pleased.
Yeah, super good year. Only one title is missing, but I'm happy with two.
Going round one more time, Manuel Huber will have to do one more lap. As the forecast spinner finished in second place, Manuel Huber has won the European Championship. He is on last lap by himself. Grosskamp across the line, finished third after those problems early on. But out of the last corner, here he comes. Huber wins the European Championship 2012. Into the pit lane he goes.
And there will be a new name on the trophy. Balestri, the only man who has won the Europeans before in 06 and 07. But it will be the Italian national anthem that plays as the hooter goes and the checkered flag waves for Alessio Mazzio. The Italian contingent to my left go bonkers.
Just looks like he's losing traction on this last lap. Last couple
I think
of corners.
the tires are just going. They've said it's a very high wear circuit. So here we are, Robert Peach.
See if we can
And
grab
there
him
we
for a
go.
chat.
There we go. That's Peach taking the championship. How does that feel, Robert?
Oh, it's so great.
One more lap for Coelho. One more lap. This will be his final lap. You think 10 seconds to go then. This is it. The final denouement in what has been a spectacular tournament for the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships. But in less than half a lap, Bruno Coelho is going to cycle home and bring home the victory with some of the finest aggressive racing ever. Bruno Coelho is your new European champion.
I am really, really satisfied with this. I have no words more, really.
Coming through the horseshoe into the Infinity infield section, whereas Coelho's just come off the straight and across the line. That is the wish. That is the win. New European champion, Toni Gruber from Germany.
Timu crosses the line here. He has won the final. Timu just needs to make it across the line and he will win. So Timu crosses the line. He has won the European Championship. He doesn't know it yet. There goes the buzzer. Mazzio has finished. Dominic Greiner has won already. He just needs to cross the line. So he does so. Dominic Greiner is our European champion.
Under the in the dictionary, under "That's the way to do it," so it's in phraseology dictionary, you'll see a picture of Dominic Greiner and the 2022 EFRA 1/10 IC Track Euros. A fantastic performance from the German, taking it home for Capricorn, taking it home for One Power, and taking it home for Germany. Greiner is your European champion, well, again.
Well, there you go. A fantastic heritage behind this event. And a fantastic event ahead of us. Just 45 minutes left of this European Championship. And James, your voice popped up on, I think, 2 of those finals that you commentated. One notably was Turkheim, and you're back there later in the year, aren't you?
Yeah, in August. Back there for the 1/10 touring car Euros, the electric touring car Euros. So we'll be joining you, from that point, but also Villarreal as well. Noticed on there in 2018, I think that was when Timu won it. So going back a few years now to see those, but. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's always Nitro finals. They're always a little bit different. I mean, we saw earlier Gilles had a really good run in his semi-final. He's third on the grid, but it looked like he could go quite a long way on fuel. So, of course, all we've seen so far in qualifying is outright pace over, on a tank of fuel. We haven't had to take into account how long that they can run without or before they need to stop. And in a 45-minute final, if you can save yourself 1 or 2 stops over the course of that, then that could be the difference. It's getting on for half a lap out there on track, so it could make quite a big difference over the course of it. So he'll have half an eye on that as well.
We've just had
the
1 minute warning.
1 minute warning. Nitro finals can be absolutely crazy, or they can be actually quite dull. There's rarely a middle ground, but I think this one's going to be a good one. I guess the cars will be coming in soon, and we'll be kicking off for the 45-minute race.
Teo's come out to tell them to go to the pits.
Nitro finals tend to go in phases. At the start of it, you'll have people quite content to hold position if someone's not a massive amount different to them in pace. There's no point doing a risky move. 45 minutes is a long time. It's not like a 5-minute electric final where you've kind of got to get yourself to the front straight away. And then the need to be up at the pointy end and near the front becomes a little bit more desperate as you get into the last 5 minutes, certainly after the last set of fuel stops. Then the gloves come off. Seeing all the cars being taken out onto the circuit now. Dario Balestri going to lead this one away from Tony Gruber. Those guys did have a free practice earlier. 10 minutes open track for them before the last chance qualifier. Getting set. Cars going down. So Dario leads this one away from Tony. Jules in third position. Already kind of following Linus Byrne. Clean for an opening lap. Dario looking like he had the pace to take every single round of qualifying yesterday. He had a bit of an incident in the first round, and Tony Gruber taking the win. But other than that, Dario looking quite peerless over a 5-minute run. He's just going to look to settle into the run. Dario famously unlucky in these 45-minute finals where it's come up to the 1-minute mark. And everybody is still pretty much in the position that they left the grid in. Elvin Dickman got the jump on Spinello, 8 spots, but other than that, they are running exactly as they started.
Yeah,
only
Guillermo has fallen down.
Yep. Down to 6th position. And look, Tony Gruber looks like he's a little bit tighter coming out onto the main straight. The Dario Balestri. You wouldn't really want to have an accident there if you can avoid it, but if we have a look out of here, and there we go. So Tony Gruber gets himself in front as Dario.
If this happens, if this goes on for 45 minutes, we are in for a barnstormer.
Absolutely. So Tony Gruber looks like he's a little quicker coming out onto the main straight, arguably off the end of it. Dario Balestri a little bit better here through this infield section. But here we go, that slightly tighter line from Tony Gruber. He's sort of taking a wider entry,
Tony.
A little bit. It was, a little bit sideways from him.
I wonder if Dario is playing a game where he lets his tires wear to, you know what I mean? So his rollout is perfect with the tire wear. We've seen that happen quite a bit in the quarters and the semis, where the cars just seem a lot faster for certain drivers after the tires wear down.
Yeah, you will end up in a point, but good point, Frank, that we might get to a situation as well where this is going to be the first final of the weekend where we're going to see tyre change. Or the first final today where we're going to see tyre part way through it, and having a tactic on when, how many tyres, whether it's only outside tyres. So we've got to change for the lead now. Tony Gruber back front. A little bit sideways there. Back in front of him again. Being fair wide. All of this fold in front of him. He is Gills is only 8/10 off of the back.
Yeah, he's waiting to pick up any pieces.
Yeah, he's waiting to pick that one up. Dario still in front.
And Gruber pits first.
Tony in the pit. No, Tony's
clean pit. He's back out. very quick. In fourth place, behind Guillermo.
So let's see where Dario comes out.
Yeah.
Dario's actually had a quicker stop there, so pulls out a bit more of a lead. And I don't think Dario actually lost the lead then, because I think Bill's pitted at the same time. Guillermo going as running in second, though he hasn't stopped yet. And small mistake there, coming out onto the main straight from Dario. A little bit of a run onto the curb. Got away with it.
So Gruber's been freed. Guillermo's gone into the pits.
So Guillermo got to just about the 5-minute mark before he could stop. Everybody else was sort of around the 4:20, 4:30 by the looks of it. Certainly guys out at the front of that. Still running with our leader at the moment, Dario Balestri. Tony Gruber is one car back from him.
Yeah, let's see if we can get both these, the lead two cars in the same shot as they're coming into the infield.
Slightly sideways for Dario there.
Starting to come up on one of the first back markers.
Yeah, they'll get out of the way. I think
that's the car 7 of Spiniello.
Yep. Dario got a little bit of a gap now. He's got it up to... In fact, it goes right in again. So a little small mistake. Just a half spin. Even Spiniello is lapping really good pace. Let's go a lap down. Hanging on pretty well. There we go. Get the way of one. Second car. Exactly what you want. It's always a bit of a fear as a driver that's like one competitor, or one of the guys you're racing get through a gap of traffic, and the car being lapped doesn't realise there's another one closely following. They are through away. Just under half a second.
Balestri gets sideways. Let's Gruber get right up on him again as he was coming onto the straight.
So there was less than half a second between them, but Tony Gruber's right back with him, got that tighter entry back out onto the straight again. Whoa, Tony nearly had his nose cut off there by Dario. Let's see who's quicker where. It looks like Tony Gruber is possibly a little bit faster if he can find his way through. Having said that, he's done that before. There we go. He's got his way through onto the straight. Let's see what Dario Balestri can do. Dario now trying to find his way back through and makes it.
Gruber
pits. Tony Gruber pits. Remember, Dario pulled out a little bit of a gap in the pits last time. Would expect him to come in. It was one lap afterwards last time. It's one lap afterwards this time. He's in the pits. He's released. Let's just see where he goes. I think Jules also was in the pits as well. Waiting for this one to play out. Not worked out that well for Tony Gruber. Looking at things,
he's dropped down several spots. Did he flame out or something? Oh, he's just bumped into the back of Tironi coming across the finish line. So lost Tironi lots of time, but lost Gruber a bunch of time as well.
So Gilles up into second position now. Guillermo into third position. Carmine Raiola in fourth place. The Super Pole winner, Tony Gruber, dropped into its position. Minute mark. Still running with Balestri, our leader. Lead over Gilles Grosjean is currently about 1.6 seconds. Before Gilles flashed through the back dot there. No between them at the moment, but Dario closing in on some traffic itself.
It's Thurston, and I think I can't make out
the
the other cars just yet.
It's Melvin Diekman.
Yep, Melvin and Thurston.
Having back. There we go. You're having to go around the outside. That's not necessarily a place that you like to have to go when you're passing people, but we trust Melvin Diekman.
Meanwhile, Gruber is coming up on the back side of Alessio Mazzeo, his teammate, but still quite a ways down from Balestri.
Yeah, they're about seconds back, those two.
So Mazzeo's let Gruber through.
Good teamwork going on there. And in these longer finals as well, it's sometimes worth picking your battles. Maybe get your elbows down, a couple of minutes to go, but someone's clearly that much faster than you. Gilles at 1.5 seconds Dario Balestri.
So Gruber has come up on Tironi once again. Tironi lets him pass. So that's good to see. And Gruber's coming up on the number 5 car of Raiola, who has just gone to the pit. So it gives him a little bit more clear space. And Gruber is pitting. So it's about 4 minutes 20 seconds since Gruber's last pit. So if Balestri is able to eke out just a bit more than Gruber each time, could be the long-term strategy.
Dario Balestri still leading this one. In front from Gilles Grosjean. Tony Gruber's got his way back up into third position now. Still running with our lead car of Dario Balestri. Lead gap now just under 3 seconds. Tony Gruber got himself back up into 3rd position. He's about 7 seconds down on. Tony lapping at the same pace as Dario Balestri. When he came out of the pits behind, he was some 10 seconds back, still 10 seconds back as we come towards the 15-minute mark. Dario left out in front of the field. Field camp running in currently from his P3 on the grid. Tony Gruber dropped down the field earlier on the second round pit stops. Starting to make way back. Got the gap field down to just over 6 seconds. It's edging up towards him. That could be a good battle going on later on. Dario looking pretty comfortable at the moment. We haven't got to a stage yet where they're going to start thinking about high stops, so I would imagine everybody's going to. Gruber now actually looking a little bit faster than Dario. He's got the gap down to 9 seconds. He's making his way back up through the field.
Gruber's just past the last chance qualifier winner, Tironi and Maceo.
Yeah, he's got a nice clear track in front of him.
And Dario's pitting.
Around it. Dario Balestri pits, gets released. Nice exit from the pit lane there.
So he's doing a bit over 4 minutes per stint at the moment.
Yeah, kind of what we'd expect. Some of them are able to edge up towards the 5-minute mark.
But I think he may have come in a little early because he's now in completely free track. Well, at least for a lap or so. He's just passed another.
I mean, that's part of the skill of a. That's part of the skill of a pitman, identifying a nice gap and sort of working on pit windows. Hoping that get through, get you in, and get you out onto clear track. Tony Gruber is scything his way into Gilles Groskamp's 2nd position. Tony Gruber is now. Let's wait and see as it updates.
Should we drop down to see that battle?
Well, it's still 4 seconds at the moment, but it's closing up. So yeah, let's go and see if we can find the
Zach coming towards you. The bright orange car is going into the kink now, and he's about to go into the sweeper. The last of the bright orange cars. He's our 3rd place man, and he's slowly reeling in Jellis Groskamp, who's mired in with back markers at the moment. There's 3 cars in between them. It's the 4 of Raiola, I believe, the 7 and the 6 of Maceo. He's getting a bit sideways, giving up a lot of time to Gruber. And lets him pass.
Yep, and it wasn't that long ago that those two were battling for position, Raiola and, well, it wasn't a huge battle, but they were together on track for position.
7 car of Spiniello is next for Gruber.
Yep.
Actually, he's already passed them. And then there's Guillermo, sorry, not Raiola. Guillermo is the next car in line. That yellow car, just plain yellow, not bright yellow. But...
Yep, it navigated him quite safely.
Stefanizzi in the 9 is that teal green color next.
There's like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's coming down. Of course, the referee is doing a pretty good job calling traffic, even for Gruber, as well as Dario.
Yep. I think Gills is going to have the Jaws music playing in his head. He'll be seeing Tony Gruber closing on him and catching up towards him. That's in front of Schottner.
So no cars in between Gruber and Grosskamp now. Grosskamp is about to pass Guillermo once again.
So Dario Balestri looking pretty comfortable out front. The gap is staying around 8 seconds. But of course Tony Gruber's had to catch and pass a lot of traffic. And Dario hitting. Tony Gruber way. See how that set things up. I think that might have been someone just flaming out on the back straight.
And Dario is pitting. So they're pretty much in sync.
They are, and Tony Gruber going in second position. Hills has needs to drop down into 4th position. The Gills had a problem in pit stops. In fact, Gruber is going now at leading. So has Balestri had an issue in the pit?
I'm not. His mechanic is not in a freak out mode or anything like that. So I'm not sure what's happened. Dario's just crossing, so he's out on track.
Okay, we have got. We're still showing with Tony Gruber as leading this one.
Yeah, maybe they did a tire change. Two tires, maybe?
Could be. But Dario has had a slower pit stop. Yeah, we're about that distance, aren't we? We're about that distance into the run.
Yeah, I was just about to ask when the tire changes are gonna happen, but we may have literally blinked and missed it. These things happen so quick. I think they're allowed, obviously, 2 mechanics. So you have you're allowed 2 mechanics in the pit per car. So drivers. One man working on the front tires and the other working on the rears.
I think what possibly I think what caught me out was Dario didn't appear to have been stopped long enough, but quite possibly he's only changed the outsiders.
He may have flamed out in the pits as well. He does seem to be a bit slidey. He's trying to get past the number 5 of Raiola, a teammate actually. So it should be a fairly easy job. But they both passed Tirone.
They have.
You know what I would love to see as a commentator or a spectator is if maybe the first set of tires use a black wheel and the second set of tires use a white wheel or something like that, so it's very clear who's doing what. But Gruber all over the back of, is that Yillis? No, it's not Yillis, sorry. Oh, my bad.
Sideways moment there for Tony Gruber.
Yeah, he is hunting down Yillis still. So it's but to lap him, it seems.
I think Yillis has had his tyre change, so I think what we're seeing is Tony Gruber hasn't yet done a tyre stop.
Yeah, so maybe Tony is the one gambling here.
I mean, we're over half distance now in the final. The thing is, if you might as well aim to stop around halfway through and do your tyre change, because otherwise you're running for a chunk of the race on a non-optimal tyre strat.
Yeah. He's coming into the pits now, he's coming into the pits now, so we'll see what happens.
So here we go.
Yeah, there they go. There's the tyre change. So we might see everything come together now.
So this is an outside tyre change. If you have on the other side of the car done.
All four.
It is. All four.
So you're watching it happen here on RC Racing TV, and EFRA back out in front of Francesco Tironi.
Dario Balestri back in front then.
Yeah. Okay. So now a few minutes to wait and see what sort of how the pace works out with if they're changed only. Oh, Dario's in the pits, just getting fuel. Yes, he's back out.
Yeah, so this is the order now, pretty much as it was before that round of pits started and Tony Gruber made his way to the front. I think what caught me out was Dario Balestri's stop was incredibly fast.
So it could come down to the last 5 minutes with Tony having really, really good tire diameter. And meaning excellent speed over Yillis and Balestri.
I think they'll all have calculated it to be on very similar tyre diameters at the end. It's the outside tyres that take the big hit here. You can see you've got that fast sweeping entry onto the straight and off the straight. So the front right-hand tyre is going to be begging for mercy.
Dario did give away a little bit of his secrets. He told us his optimum tire diameters yesterday during the Super Pole. So he's running almost nose to tail with Grosskamp. Grosskamp about a half a second behind him.
Yep, and they're about 4 seconds down the road. So actually, that's the battle for the lead going on.
Yeah. So let's go to the start of the. So at the end of the track, end of the lap is Balestri. He's coming towards you now, Zach. It's Balestri at that unique gray back end. He says he likes the gray color now. I didn't mention anything to him about age or anything, but I have plenty of gray going on myself. But it's Dario Balestri in the lead. It's actually increased a little bit from Grosskamp.
I think the reason they were so close together was Balestri was one stop ahead of Grosskamp. So they'd ended up artificially close, but still running with the leader at the moment. Still only about a second in it.
Yeah, and Gruber's maybe 2-3 seconds behind Grosskamp.
He is, yes. So he's 4 seconds off the lead.
You know, one or two half spins or drifts or a slight entanglement with the back marker, and Gruber's right up there again. And we saw how aggressive he drives. I can't remember seeing him drive before, but he reminds me a lot of Dave June, former national champion in the U.S. He's one of the most aggressive touring car racers I've ever seen. And Gruber is very much in that mold.
It looks like Gruber's just nicked second off of Groskamp.
Yep. I was just going to say that Groskamp came in for a pit stop. Blink and you miss it.
Absolutely, this will all draw itself together. We're coming up to 2/3 distance. Last 5 minutes or so, this will all come together as everybody exits the pits for the last time. But great fight back from Tony. Well, in fact, Tony Gruber's now pitted and dropped and got Gilles up in front of him. So expecting to see Dario pit fairly shortly. At the moment, it's about 8-second lead for Dario.
There he goes. And it looks like he's going to come out in more clear space. Well, he's got some lap traffic ahead of him, but he's going to have clear space for a few laps.
At this stage, lap traffic, it's not too much of a problem as long as you're approaching them one by one. What you don't want to be doing as the leader, even though they're compelled to get out of your way, be approaching and catching up on cars that are fighting each other for position. That's always the really risky time when you have the danger that you're gonna get caught up in a bit of an accident between them. So he'll be relatively relieved to see the cars running in front of him, kind of line astern, even though there's a few of them. They're not all bundled together in one gaggle. He can go at them one by one and pick them off.
He does have Yillis about a second behind him, and then about a second and a half again to Gruber.
Yeah, I think Tony Gruber's actually the danger man for him. He seems to have Gilles. He's got the pace in his pocket, I think, to deal with Gilles. It's Tony Gruber who looks like he's given clear track. Might actually have the pace to do some damage to Dario.
Dario doesn't seem to be making massive amounts of headway through this lap traffic, so maybe he's kind of just holding fire a bit, but I don't see why he would do that.
Potentially he's waiting to see if they'll... Yeah, he's not charging up to the back of them.
Yeah.
15 there, one of them pits out of the way in front of him.
Yeah.
He's got that couple of... He's got that little bit of a buffer in front of him, so I think he's playing a sensible game. He's not feeling the need to jump straight past them at every opportunity and dive into tiny little gaps. He's just, letting them naturally come out of his way as he pits, or as they pit in front of him. And it's opening up the track a little bit. Of course, you can see some of the lap traffic as well that's in and around them. I think that's Alex Thurston behind him.
It is, yes.
As someone who's been lapped many, many times through my racing career, it's always good to, you can use that as well when you've been lapped, to latch on somewhere near the back of the leader. Obviously, you don't want to be taking them off. That's the very worst thing you can do. But they can help drag you along and open up gaps in traffic for you as well. Still just about a second, though Dario now has clear track in front of him. All of that traffic that he's passed. I was going to say Gilles had to pass it, but he looks to have pitted.
He did.
So Tony Gruber is now into...
Tony is just pitted.
Second.
Tony's just pitted. Still about 4 minutes between each pit. 4:15 to 4:30. So lovely bit of open track in front of Dario. It's going to be a long time, several minutes, probably even complete another pit stop before Dario comes across any more lap traffic.
It does, though. It looks like he just got himself caught out a little bit down last lap on this short shoot here. I think he actually got a better exit from the previous corner and had an upshift where he wasn't quite expecting it. In pit for Dario Balestri. Pitman making well sure get the car right out of the pit lane.
The last time he pitted was 14:30, so and it's 10:30 when he just did that pit. So that's a 3-minute gap.
I think that's just playing with a gap. He's got to have a splash and dash at some point.
Yeah.
So if there's a window to drop into, you're effectively you're dividing 10 by 4. It wasn't going to work. He was going to need to drop in somewhere so he could have an earlier stop or a later stop somewhere in that range. That was Pitman calling in. So we're coming into the range now where you're going to have maybe one more stop after this one. So if you can get to, I think after this lap they can probably get by on one more stop.
Yeah, we've got Gruber is chasing down Grosskamp. So again, they're about a second apart. So Grosskamp's about a second behind Balestri, and Gruber's less than a second behind Grosskamp. So if we drop back one car, Zach, Grosskamp gets a little wild and lets Gruber catch up to him. So we got Grosskamp being about to get harassed by by Gruber in that bright orange, and they both just pitted just a couple minutes ago. So that flash of orange behind Yillis, that is Tony Gruber. Yillis, who
they are running quite close to Dario Balestri as well.
Yeah.
I believe Balestri has got one more stop to do, and Grosskamp and Gruber have got 2 more to do.
Wow, they're really close to Balestri now.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit false. I think Balestri's got an extra stop in his pocket. But top 3 with 8 minutes to go. They're all together on the track. But I think Balestri has probably got a couple of seconds in his pocket.
That is
Gilles
Yillis, who's gone to pit. Yeah. Oh! Balestri's flamed out! Balestri's flamed out at the start of the straight.
Okay, so Dario Balestri then has that's
and
not
Gruber is coming to pit. His mechanics still okay. He's back out, but where is this going to put him? And Gruber.
Well, that's Gruber and Grosskamp up at the front. Balestri down to 3rd, 4th. Carmine Raiola up there.
Okay,
Tony Gruber
about to go into the kink, Zach. The bright orange car and the white and orange car behind him. These are our leaders.
So lead 2 right together now, and
Raiola is actually past Balestri
lead
as well.
there on the same fuel strategy as well. So Dario Balestri, no luck at all. That's really unfortunate for him. Always seems to have issues in these big meetings. Certainly the 10th Nitro meetings. Always right up at the front of it. This lead battle that we're watching. Tony Gruber and Gilles Grosskamp together as they cross the line. There's 1/4 of a second between them.
And as we saw in the highlights reel that we showed before the race started, Balestri actually hasn't won in this category, at least in the last 10 or a dozen years.
He hasn't. No, he won the eighth. He's won the 8 Euros, but not
so
the.
Ballestri's in the pits. His mechanic is picking away at something on the bottom of his car. Can't quite tell, so I think that's Ballestri's race done. Unfortunate.
If he's picking away at something at the bottom of the car, he's probably trying to free off the flywheel, which suggests that it's maybe the engine stuck towards the top of its stroke. So
it flamed out as he was going out. So yeah, he's several laps down now.
It seized at the top of its stroke, so engine maybe overheated slightly. Into the final 5 minutes. This final seems to have gone pretty quickly. Tony Gruber leading from Jules Groskamp. Gap now 9/10 of a second. Gruber edging away. This is what we felt. We felt that Dario Balestri and Tony Gruber had that little bit of extra pace. Dario Balestri dropped all the way down to 9th position now after his prevails in the pits. We're running with the leader, Tony Gruber. Dropped down the field himself early on, dropped down to 6th place, but great display of pace. And has managed to pull himself back into contention. More than contention, he is right up at the front. His lead now about 1 second.
Gillis has just
4 minutes
pitted.
out. Yep. So this is going to be the last round of stops for them. When they come in.
Gruber's coming in.
Gruber's coming in. This will be his final stop. He gets away. A little bit of air there as he exited the pit lane.
And
as it transitioned into that little drop.
Gillis has 2 cars between him and Gruber to navigate. It's the 8 and the 5 of Dickman and Raiola.
I don't think Jules has got the pace, unfortunately, for him. I think Tony Gruber has got more outright pace in the car, and it has looked like that. Pretty much all the way through the final. He was catching, he was closing on Gilles. So, barring any issues now, I think now that the pit stops have all shaken themselves out, the gap is, as they cross the line, like about 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, something like that. So, Tony Gruber looking pretty comfortable. Good drive from him, kept his head when the field sort of swallowed him up quite early on and ended up back down in 6th place. He just got his head down, kept on churning out the laps, made his way forward. Looking pretty good as we come in towards the 2-minute mark for Tony Gruber. Running with him at the minute.
So, James, I'm going to let you finish this one off and call in the last several laps.
We're running into the final 2 minutes with Tony Gruber. He has had all of his stops. Nothing extra planned for him. You can see a little bit of traffic in front of him, but he can just coast his way up towards it. He's got a couple of seconds in his pocket from Gilles. Still around that 2.5 second mark. Desperately unlucky for Dario Balestri. Was dominating the final. And Groskamp and Gruber had got relatively close to him. Just over 1 minute left. Never completely over till they get right to the end, but Tony Gruber is looking in a very strong position at the moment. A couple of cars in front of him that he probably won't want to catch. Hopefully his mechanic on the headset letting him know that just got about a minute left. See as he makes his way through the traffic. 40 seconds left. He's got 5 seconds now over Gilles. Into the final 30 seconds. So probably this lap and 2 more. I think Tony Gruber might just make the extra lap. Maybe, possibly. That's always nice if you can do that, get a victory lap. Into the final 10 seconds. 5, 4, no, I think this might be it. Tony Gruber is going to cross the line. Tony Gruber crosses the line to win the European Championship for 2023. Gilles Groskamp in second, Carmine Raiola in third. We have got Dickman in fourth position, Alessio Mazzio fifth. Well done, Alex Thurston, sixth position. Spiniello eighth. Gaiamo in... Spiniello was seventh. Gaiamo was eighth. Francesco Tironi ninth. Really unlucky for Dario Balestri. Finishing in 10th position. And Stefanizzi. But there we go, Tony Gruber, subject to scrutineering, is our European champion for 2023. Not sure if Frank has managed to get hold of Tony Gruber yet. Gone up there to try and find him. So really good final, very unlucky for Dario Balestri. Think he probably had enough pacing in hand there to hang on to that from Tony Gruber. It was going to be close. Tony had really good pace. I think front two were probably a step ahead of everybody else on pace. Gilles Groskamp did a really good final, as you'd expect from him, a well thought out final. Trying to catch him, and Frank has got Tony.
That was an amazing race. What are you feeling right now?
Unbelievable. I have no words. After I flame out in the pit, after the engine stop, it was not a flame out, it was an engine stop. But I know I have the pace. I see in the beginning I catch Dario, and I have really the pace. So I just keep focus on my race and just drive my style. And in the end, with Dario, I don't know what's happened. He got out something. And also Gilles, I know he just changed the right side. So also I think he finished the tires. But overall, I had the pace. I feel it in the beginning. The car was super stable. I feel really safe. And finally, after, I don't know, 6 years, I did it again.
that first stint, the first couple of stints with you and Dario, you're driving so aggressive. Were you feeling that confident with the car that you could get past them?
Sure. I was really confident with the car. I feel really safe. So also, it was not aggressive. It was just focus on my pace and don't touch it because of the stop and go, and to be fair. But I see already in the left corner on the straight, I had the traction. So I just wait when Dario makes some little mistake in the corner, and then I pass him. But with the stop of the car in the pit. But well, I don't care now.
No, you shouldn't. It was a fantastic race. Congratulations. A new European champion.
Thank you very much.
Well, James, there we have it. Another European champion crowned.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, I mean, either one of I think Tony Gruber or Dario Balestri would have been a deserved winner. It was unfortunate for Balestri, but then Tony Gruber also had that issue. Like you said, he had an engine cut. Fortunately, it was as he left the pits, so it wasn't as costly as it was. And I think Dario at the end. He flamed out coming out onto the main straight, and then I think in the pits it looked like it cut again. The mechanic was seen underneath the chassis with a screwdriver, so I'm guessing he was trying to crank the flywheel over. So I think that seized at or near top dead centre when it cut. So clearly engine running pretty hot in order to cause that. It's unfortunate. But always seems to happen to Dario in finals as well. So do feel some sympathy for him.
It does.
But,
when will the bad luck end for Dario? Oh, poor Dario. It was his to lose for so long. For the whole event, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's done it in other classes. He's done it in 8th IC. It's not that he can't do a 45-minute final and drive it. There's nothing he could have done about that. It's just really unfortunate.
Absolutely.
For him right there at the end. And I think even Tony Gruber is going to feel some sympathy for him as well on there. But really good drive from Gruber. Kept his head. Bit of a dropped him down to 6th early on. Just managed to pick his way back up through the field, used the pace in his car, didn't lose his head. It's really easy to panic at that stage, but it's a long final, anything can happen, and he got back there just through sheer pace.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being with us, James. I think the track is going to become a football pitch now, so we better clear off and let the Italians try and improve on their football. Thank you for watching, everybody. This has been the EFRA 110th IC Track European Championship, an EFRA event. Thank you to EFRA. We are RC Racing TV. Thank you to X-Ray. Thank you to James.
Thank you, Matt.
And we will see you next from Zagreb for GT8. See you soon.